Hello everyone, I'm Shashi Singh, Assistant Professor at APJ School of Architecture and Planning, Greater Noida. Today I'm going to tell you about vernacular architecture of Nagaland, which is a part of Module 3 of RAR 409, that is Vernacular Architecture of 4th semester. Talking about Nagaland, Nagaland is the most colorful state which is located in the eastern margin of the Himalayan range in northeast India. It is home to various colorful tribes like Angamis, Tangas, Chakesangs, Sema, etc. Nagas are hill dwellers and settlements are found at the highest possible point, because of which they are inaccessible. Nagas had the custom of headhunting, which influenced their settlement. Their life revolved around agriculture, because of which most of the time during day they were out at the fields. Now we'll discuss about the location of Nagaland. As mentioned earlier, Nagaland is one of the 8 states of northeast part of India. The 8 states are Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, Manipur, Tripura, Mizoram, Sikkim and Nagaland itself. On eastern border, Myanmar is there, which happens to be an international border. For southern end, Manipur is there. Western and northwestern side is bordered by Assam and the northern side is bordered by Arunachal Pradesh. Looking at the geographical setting, Nagaland is drained by 4 main rivers, Dowang, Jhansi, Dhansiri and Dhiku, which are tributaries of Brahmaputra river. 20% of total land area of Nagaland is covered with wooded forest. Since climate plays a very crucial role in vernacular architecture, we need to know the climate of Nagaland. Nagaland faces mainly tropical monsoon climate, which varies from tropical to subtropical to mountainous tropical climate as we move from the foothill plains to sheltered valleys to the ranges. The whole year is divided mainly into 4 seasons: winter, pre-monsoon, monsoon and retreating monsoon. Strong north-west winds blow across Nagaland during February and March. The temperature varies during summer from 16 degrees to 31 degrees Celsius and in winter from 4 degrees to 24 degrees Celsius. And average temperature in plain varies from 5 degrees Celsius to 35 degrees Celsius and in hills from 5 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius. The average annual rainfall is 2000 mm to 2500 mm annually, and the relative humidity is 85 to 95%. The higher altitude face snow. Looking at the settlement pattern of Nagaland, we observe that it was highly influenced by the headhunting custom of Naga people. Climate also played a very important role because as the altitude changes, the climate varies. Below 500 meters, the climate is hot and unhealthy. Above 1500 meters, it is unpleasant, that is cold in winter, and during monsoon, cloud is perpetual, that is it faces cold and cloudy climate. Above 1500 meter height, less springs are available, thus there is shortage of water. The villages in Nagaland are large in size, of approximately 5,000 people, due to the defense requirement, as inter-village or inter-tribal conflicts were very common. Culture and traditions of Nagaland is remarkable, as it is a land of festivals, having approximately 16 different tribes having different customs, languages, attires, and dance. They celebrate their festivals with color, music, and dance. Their festivals mostly revolve around agriculture. Naga people were very good at cane and bamboo craft work, manufacturing traditional hand tools, weapons, textile work, wood carvings, pottery, making ornaments, and musical instruments. Nagaland, having highest tribal population in India, has three major economic elements, that is agriculture, animal husbandry and weaving. It is rich in tradition and ethnic cultural values. Nagaland has its own unique tradition as well as horrifying past or scary histories. Headhunting used to be traditional way to solve problems between tribal communities. Among all tribes, Koyangs were well skilled headhunters who used to fight with a long headed knife, and after killing the opponent, Koyang used to bring the skull back as a trophy and used to hang it on their walls. This horrifying tradition was transferred from generation to generation. When we look at the Nagas' art and crafts, we find out that there is a connection of body and soul between Nagas people and their art and craft. Each craft represents a symbol of nature and accordance. Apart from this, Naga people were expert in textile weaving. Naga shawls are very famous. Each tribal community in Nagaland wear different kind of shawl and they follow certain rules in wearing shawls. For example, head hunting warriors wear shawl which is made of 96 designs and is called Rongkim shawl, and other warriors wear a shawl having 64 designs. Generally, the design of textiles represent nature. Specifically, shawls have geometrical patterns as well as pictures of everyday objects like mithons, elephant, tiger, human head, weapons, etc. As discussed in previous slide, textiles, specifically shawls, have pictures of various objects where mithun symbolizes wealth of the owner, elephant and tigers indicate valor or courage of the people, and human heads indicate the success in the head hunting wars. So these pictures, either used in textile or house decoration elements, had specific symbol as mentioned earlier. Nagaland has a very rich tradition of wood carving, which is seen in architecture as well as ritual practices. The tribes who are famous for their wood carving skills are Naga, Koyang, Phom, and Angami. Carvings are full of motifs and designs which are abstractions of mostly animal forms, and each motif has a symbolic aspect. Wooden carvings showing human figures or sculpted heads symbolizes the victory of the warrior in head hunting tradition. Different types of animal motifs were also created like bison heads, tigers, elephants, snakes, hornbills, lizards, monkeys, etc., which symbolizes certain virtues. The most common one was the Indian bison or mithun. Village gates were also decorated with various elements. Mainly chief's house or men of social distinction or men's dormitories, which were called morangs, had decorative doors and walls, which symbolized their significance in the village. When we study the architecture of Nagaland, we find that it has its own architectural style, which is vernacular and have climatic responsiveness. That is, it is built considering the hilly terrain and climate that helps people to sustain the cold. Generally, the materials used by most of the Naga people to construct the house are bamboo, thatch, and wood, which are locally available materials. Moreover, houses are constructed in such a manner that it withstands the natural calamity like earthquake and heavy rainfall. Typical architecture style which Naga people follow are firstly building houses as a group and secondly building houses in a scattered manner with a fence. Koyank architecture is a very important architecture style of Nagaland. As mentioned earlier, Koyank is one of the most important tribal community which is famous for bravery and headhunting skills. And they used skulls to decorate their houses as well. Koyang's houses are similar to Sema architecture, which we'll discuss in detail in later slides. But the only difference was its size, which are actually bigger than the Sema house. Discussing about the vernacular houses of various tribes of Nagaland, firstly we need to know about its tribes. As we all know, there are 16 officially recognized Naga tribes, but there are several other tribes also outside Nagaland, that is in Assam, Manipur, Arunachal Pradesh, and Burma. Each tribe has some similarity and few distinction too, like their attire, traditional habits, food, and construction style of houses. Almost all Naga huts have slightly arched roof constructed from tall grass found in wild. As discussed earlier, huts of different tribes have different architectural style. The village pattern also vary from group to group, that is, from dispersed terrace to linear arrangement of houses. Tribes like Ao, Lhota arrange their houses along regular streets. Tuensang tribe built 4 village huts along winding stone paved lanes. Koyang villages have unique feature of stone paths which is constructed for monsoon season, dividing the village quarters, and that leads to important sites of village which has some magic symbolic association. In some villages, houses are grouped in a compact block and enclosed by a fence. In other villages, houses are scattered, interspersed with vegetable plots and bamboo groves. Due to the contoured surface, the houses are constructed at different levels. The Tagas used to build houses on hill slopes, one above the other, in an orderly manner. Angami and Chakesang houses are irregular and built in 2 rows, the front facing east, and the gable ends of each row of houses project towards the street. In southern part of Nagaland, there are many houses surrounded by stone walls that create a compound and is being used to keep cattle at night. The Zeliang group people of Kachar used to move village in every 4 to 5 years because of the difficult terrain and limited workable land. Most of the Naga houses have a central living place where family used to sleep, eat and live, and an entrance area as well where the guests were entertained. Spaces like porch, anteroom and storage spaces are supplement to the living space. Nagas used to believe that after death the soul wanders westwards towards the land of dead. On the basis of type of floor, houses of Nagaland can be categorized into 3 types. First, houses which have earth floor. Second, houses having earth and raised floor. Third, house having raised floor only. The southern groups have generally first kind of houses. Loyer, Koyang and Wancho tribes also have the same type. Central Naga people have their living area raised above the ground. The Lotha and Ao have raised floor and they cover it with either earth or woven bamboo sleds and mats. The southern groups generally prefer a simple layout and the houses have barn-like double-pitched roof and plain gable end. Houses having raised earthen floor have living quarters, raised platform which extends to the rear side where miscellaneous activities are performed like weaving. The Naga villages are generally divided into two or more khels, that is, wards or quarters, which depends on the population of the village. In some villages, only members of a particular clan reside in a khel. Inter-clan rivalries were very common and frequent earlier. Due to the head hunting games in past, villages are defensively situated and are also fortified with stone walls or bamboo spikes or wooden gates etc. and a perimeter ditch. Mostly the villages are attached to the parent village unless and until there is insufficient land available. The center of the village is Morang, which has different names in different tribes. This is the most prominent and remarkable house of Naga village, which gives visual, institutional, and architectural expression to the solidarity of clan members. Morangs served as guardhouse, storage area for all villages' weapons. Here, boys used to live from the age of 8 years. It functions as village community center where artwork like weaving, costume adornment, dancing and oral traditions are carried out. Morangs are known for wood carvings and for decorating front rafters with fronds of grass and cane. Morangs act as village theatre also, where hunting skills are taught to the younger members. It also acts as meeting place, entertainment house for guests, and important decisions are oftenly taken here. In past, Morangs were the ideal focal point for attackers because those who controlled the Morong used to control the people. There were girl Morongs also, having less decoration, where girls used to learn various household and agricultural affairs, singing and dancing as well. These are few pictures showing the vernacular houses of the Chang Naga tribe at Kisama, having peculiar decoration style and typical sloping thatched roof. The images shown in this slide are traditional huts of Koyang tribe at Kisama. The importance of bamboo as building material for Nagas can be seen from these pictures.
The pictures shown here are traditional huts of Khiamniuangan Naga tribe. Among the Naga tribes, these traditional huts have slated roofs. Earlier, skulls of hunted animals were hung inside the hut as well as around it. Even now, in remote areas, such practices are carried out. Left hand side picture shows the Phom Naga traditional hut and right side image shows traditional hut of Lotha Naga tribe.
Since we will be discussing Sema House in detail in later slides, we need to know more about Sema tribe and its geographical settings. Sema tribe was one of the largest tribes in Nagaland which existed in the hilly regions. Sema villages existed either on the highest peak of a hill or on the shoulder of a spur. Almost all the houses of a particular village had the same style, so that the village of a particular tribe could be identified from a distance. Since the main source of livelihood was farming, various agricultural lands are found here, where majority of the daytime was spent by people, as I told you earlier. There were three most common construction materials which were being used. One was timber, which was used as structural element like vertical posts. Second one was bamboo for walls and other structural members. And the third one was thatch, which was used as roofing material. Now we'll discuss the spatial planning of Sema House. The size of the house was approximately 14 meters by 5.5 meters and the height was about 4 meters. The interior of the Sema house was divided into four parts, which were called Akisheko, Abidelabo, Akuzu Abo, and Azebo. As you can see, the right hand side of the plan, which is curved, has an entrance front door which leads to Akisheko, which is the front room having rice pounding tables. Here, unmarried boys used to sleep. Moving towards left, a narrow room called Abidelabo is placed, where unmarried girls used to sleep, and firewoods were also stored over here. After this room, Akuzo Abo space was planned, which was a big room and where head of the family, that is father and mother, used to sleep, which also has Amifokibo, which is a hearth, that is fireplace. Again, when we move towards left, there was Azebo, that is liquor room, where rice beer is stored in bamboo jugs. The Akisheko used to be semicircular in plan, as you can see in the image in the left hand side, with the eaves brought down to the height of 3 to 4 feet from ground, which can be seen in the section which is shown at the right hand side. Most of the time, animals were also kept here apart from the sleeping area of unmarried boys. Abide Labo is already explained to you. Talking about Akuzo Abo, the father's bed used to be placed near fireplace, and wife's bed used to have a separate smaller fireplace. Through color coding, you can see different zones, which is defined as public zone, semi-private zone and private zone, and the last one is neutral zone. Talking about the Amifo Kibo, Ami means fire and Fo means smoke and Kibo means cover. 4 bamboo posts were placed at 4 corners of the fireplace which supported a bamboo shelf which prevented the spark to reach the roof and was also used to dry meat or to keep utensils. The pic is shown in the next slide. The guests were entertained here also near the fireplace. Near fireplace there is a large window which was placed and used to throw the trash out. At the back of the house where a gazebo is placed there is a back door which leads to a small kitchen garden. Showing interiors of Sema house, on the extreme left there is a loft above the hearth. Picture in the middle shows the typical master bedroom and the right image shows how the heat from the hearth is being used to dry firewood. Now we'll discuss the construction detail of the Sema house. The image on the left upper corner shows how the timber posts is directly embedded in the ground and further detail is shown below. The image next to it shows the flooring system and at the extreme right connection detail in the roof understructure is shown which shows how bamboo members are tied with ropes and held together. Main decorating feature of Sema house was 2 bamboos in front forming the gable which were prolonged beyond the roof forming horns which was called tehakerki or snail horns. They sometimes decorated with bamboo tassels and imitations of birds. Semas didn't decorate much and adorned their house with heads as trophies which the owners slaughtered. Now we'll discuss about the response to the needs of Sema people or the local people of Nagaland. The dwellings of Sema tribe are located in cold and cloudy climatic category, so they have to retain heat within the house. Minimum openings were provided and fireplace was placed in the sleeping or living areas. Private spaces were small in size due to which less heat source was needed to keep the space warm. Sloping roof protected the house from heavy rainfall. Coming to the conclusion, the architecture of Nagaland relates to the socio-economic setup, cultural identities and is climate responsive, as the house form helps in controlling temperature, enhances natural ventilation and protects from natural calamities like flood and earthquake. But there is a drawback in such traditional house, that is fire proneness, termite infestation and dampness which needs to be taken care of. Thank you for watching.